We are absolutely winning right now. Absolutely. We have done more than change the conversation. We changed the balance of power in the federal government.
Because there are a lot of people in this country who do not like Black women, but Black women are the base of the Democratic Party.
But Black power starts with Black women. It just does.
What exactly did Black people ever do?
What did we do for white people to hate us so much?
Like, I'm genuinely asking, what did we ever do to deserve anti-Blackness in every single community?
I can only imagine what white people is going through. Everybody dislikes them. Everybody hates them because they're the more fortunate people. They didn't ask to control everything. They didn't ask to be the managers and the supervisors. They didn't ask for the position of power. It seemed nobody else wanted to do it. So somebody had to do it and create the laws and separate things. It just so happened they were picked. They were picked to cause order. And when you get that type of position, Yes, things are going to be in your favor a lot more than others. That is the reward for being the leaders. But I can only imagine the loneliness they feel at the top, having to make all the decisions and everybody's criticizing them, how unappreciative they feel. I can imagine the anger that they have, that black people does nothing but complain when they try to give you food stamps and welfare and different breaks. You complain that they don't give you lump sums, but they're doing you a favor because they know you're only going to spend it again. And they're tired of just keep giving you shit. Boy, I can understand. I pray for white folks. Stay strong. Stay controlling. We need you.
I hope that was a nice positive start because it's all dark and downhill after that guy. I well, first off, good morning, good morning. Thank you guys for tuning in. Sound check, sound check. Are we clear? Are we doing well? Having some hardware issues lately. Got to go buy a brand new microphone. So we're doing this the struggle way. That being said, can you guys hear me? Okay, okay, okay. All right. Well, let's proceed then. I got to get this out the way early because I have to get up and go to work soon. So I already woke up. We're halfway there. The end of empathy. I wanted to start off today's show with obviously a little orthodox song, a tribute to Charlie Kirk. That was a hymn titled "Teach Me, Lord," sung in some Eastern European language. I have no idea what they were saying, but I like the melody of it. I like the aura of that whole vibe. And like I said, it's all pretty much downhill after that one black guy. In the aftermath of Charlie Kirk's assassination, I do have a lot of reactions from all over the internet. A lot of people are mocking Charlie Kirk and his death. But I noticed Black America mocking Charlie Kirk and his death. And even immediately after the death, guess who was on site to steal hats right off the booth, which is technically a crime scene?
Grab me out. Hey, yo, grab me out. Let's go, guys. Come on. Let's go, guys. I don't know. Let's go. I have no idea. Come on, guys. What are you doing? Get the fuck out. Let's go. Yeah. Grab me out.
Free swag. Anybody want a hat? Anybody want a bloody hat? Could be evidence on those hats. You never know. Um, so yeah, that happened. That happened. That definitely happened. And I want to talk about the idea of empathy as we get into today's brief morning show. Do hit the like button. I promise not to keep you here long. I know we all up early, have jobs to do and such. We are the working people of America, are we not? And the end of empathy. I don't think a lot of black folk in this country, especially talking to a lot of the people on the internet, you know, it is a labor of mine to talk to my fellow black YouTubers and internets, the streamers and whatnot. And I've learned a lot talking to these people over the years.
I'm telling you, man, this the reason why I be hating niggas, man. I'm telling you, man. It just be us. I be hating niggas, man.
I have learned so much, so very much talking to my fellow Black men and women all over the internet land. You know, I do the whole Chitlin circuit and all that, and it's been enlightening in a dark kind of way. Can you be enlightened by darkness? Theoretically speaking, can one become enlightened by darkness? It sounds like a philosophical impossibility, yet here we are. I feel as though I have been enlightened by darkness. Well before this Charlie Kirk thing, I have come to the realization that by and large, the Black side of things is not the good, wholesome, positive, righteous side of things. If it weren't for Charlie Kirk, we would still be talking about this tiny ballerina who was stabbed to death by a tarantula monster. It all sounds like something out of a Tolkien novel at this point.
Want to be there.
Yeah, and it's
It's
super
about
difficult
forcing them
because
to be there.
when you are mentally ill, you have a hard time knowing that you are mentally ill.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, people like Charlie Kirk, they've been looking for opportunities to make this some sort of like reciprocal George Floyd situation. And that's the part that I think he's almost giving away the game. And
I think what she revealed in that statement, what Abby Phillips revealed, is something I think is a broader sentiment across Black America, and especially among the TV elite and the professional class and whatnot. You know, the professional Blacks on TV. There is a sense that we must deny white people their George Floyd. Under no circumstances should we allow them to have their rallying figure, which is a kind of spiteful, hateful move in and of itself. That move in and of itself is a type of tell, right? It is giving away your game. And after the death of this young ballerina at the hands of a giant tarantula monster, a lot of people seem to be giving a weird defense of the tarantula monster, you know? What if the tarantula was going through something? Sometimes tarantulas have bad days. You never know what was inside the mind of the tarantula monster.
it's sad to see a lot of people going along with it.
You know, let me just say a couple of things. One is, I mean, what happened to that young woman was horrible. And it's everybody's nightmare. If you're in any public space, a subway, whatever, that something bad is going to happen to you or somebody you care about. So it does strike a chord. We don't know why that man did what he did. And for Charlie Kirk to say, we know he did it because she's white, when there's no evidence of that, it's just pure race mongering, hate mongering. It's wrong. Then he said,
nobody knows why tarantulas attack their prey. We need to study nature a lot further to understand the full, complete mind of the tarantula monster.
That if something like that had happened the other way, there'd be sweeping changes imposed on society. Where is the George Floyd Policing Act? It didn't pass. Even when you had a white police officer murder a Black man on live television, the whole world saw, there were no sweeping changes. In fact, not one law was passed at the federal level.
America was effectively under siege for the sake of George Floyd. And not only that, we low-key allowed it as a moment of national atonement. We effectively allowed ourselves to be cowed by the masked violent armies who were arguably protesting in defense of Black people or some other gay shit or something. Who knows anymore? I don't even know if it was about transgenders or Blacks or George Floyd. I don't remember anymore. It was all a giant gay blur. But as a country, we effectively allowed ourselves to be struggle sessioned for like 2 years. It went on for years, and that was all based on this idea of Black empathy. That the world, not just America, right? Not just the city, the world, Craig. Everybody had empathy for Black people. And as it turns out, it may have actually been an empathy that was completely undeserved. And you know the irony of things that are undeserved, you tend to abuse them. Like when you give away free money, people don't spend it wisely because they haven't worked for the value of that dollar. I suppose undeserved empathy has much of a similar effect.
So that's I think that's important to point out. The other thing is you mentioned the thing about cashless bail. I think this is a big challenge that we have. Would you have felt better if there had been cash bail and the mom had come and put down $1,000 to let him out? It's not about cashless bail or no cashless bail. It's about the fact that we don't know how to deal with people who are hurting in the way this man was hurting. Hurt people hurt people. What happened was horrible, but it becomes an opportunity.
He was hurting. Therefore, he was also a victim. And a lot of people argued that Tarantula Monster was failed by the system. Somehow, the system didn't care for him properly. The system didn't provide enough resources and funding for him. The system didn't accurately diagnose what was really going on with him. The system is actually the killer here. And so, there are a lot of white folk around this country who, again, all high on empathy because of George Floyd. They shot that stuff right up in their veins. And so now that the speedball high of empathy has kind of started to wear off, you get smacked with the Charlie Kirk thing. And it was like back to back. This was like days apart when these two stories broke because the incident in Charlotte happened a while ago, a couple weeks ago, I think, but it just now broke onto the major national news cycle because of the internet. And then just a couple of days that we haven't even begun to process how do you bury a ballerina who was slaughtered at the hands of a tarantula monster? We haven't even begun to work that out yet. And then the Charlie Kirk thing happens. And what's really most horrifying about this Charlie Kirk thing is the media response. A lot of people directly in the media have basically said that he effectively brought this on himself. A lot of people in the media, I mean, even when I was on the panel yesterday on Sharon's, people talk as if you say mean words, well, then you probably deserve to have something bad happen to you. Rest in peace, Colin Flaherty. He said this a while ago. Don't make the Black kids angry.
Like this happens. Yeah, and again, I emphasize what you just emphasized. We don't know any of the full details of this. That we don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration, or so we have no idea about this. But following up on what was just said, he's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech or sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions. And I think that's the environment we're in, that people just, you can't stop with these sort of awful thoughts you have and then saying these awful words and not expect awful actions to take place.
Matt.
And that's the...
So apparently he must have deserved it because, you say mean words and somebody's going to have to come and, pew pew on you. So that guy got fired. And, professional white guy on television, he actually didn't even go all that far. And so now I'm going to spend the rest of the show giving you ample evidence as to why I say the end of empathy for Black people in general is about done. We're on a whole new level now. Please like the video, like, share, and subscribe. It's almost time to go to work, so if you wouldn't mind buying me a morning coffee, that'd be awesome.
I can't have empathy for someone like Charlie Kirk. First of all, Charlie Kirk don't believe in empathy. He said it's a bad thing. He said it's some new age made up shit. He also said people got to be sacrificed in order to protect guns. If he was saying that while fighting for reparations, I may have a little bit of empathy. But this white on white violence, he died? Damn, B. Life comes at you fast. I can't have empathy for someone like Charlie Kirk because I cannot be in his shoes. I have no frame of reference for that. I have no cognizance for that. There literally is nothing about his existence that I can relate to. So I don't have any empathy because I have no connectivity. I have more connectivity to someone who is a complete stranger that dies of a drug overdose than I do to someone like Charlie Kirk, because life is hard. And I understand that, because it takes very little for someone to end up committing themselves to an existence of numbness. I understand that. That man got murdered at 31 at a college event in the middle of a sentence talking about Black gangs. What a way to go. Oh, Chanel. He was actually taken out by an old white man in one of the whitest, whitery, witty whites states in existence. He didn't get murked in Watts now. They took him out in Utah. They said Lady Oleana. I want you to know it was us. Ain't no way it was a Black man that took that man out. Not no Utah. Mm-hmm. Right as that bullet hit him, that man was in the middle of talking shit about gangs. White on white crime. These thugs, y'all. These thugs.
You know, I was trying to explain to these melanated people yesterday that there's a completely difference between the nature of something like a political assassination versus getting caught up in street crime. Like, for example, if you were to be shot by an assassin, you know, with a rifle, it's most likely going to be like a well-trained white guy. Like, that's kind of the shooter MO, middle-aged to slightly older white male. Whereas if you're walking down the street in an urban area and you get hit over the side with a hammer randomly, it's probably some nigga. You know, this is a completely different type of violence, but it's hard to explain nuance to people who don't really believe in percentages and per capitas and whatnot.
That was a sharp shot, clean bullets, exactly where it needed to go to kill him instantly. It went right there. You could see the bullet hole right there. That nigga bled out immediately. That was a sharp shot, clean bullets, exactly where it needed to go to kill him instantly. It went right there. You could see the bullet hole right there. That nigga bled out immediately.
Let me say this. First, I'm sorry that this happened. And then, second of all, I could give less than 2 dog shits of a fuck that it happened. This man despised my people. He spoke disgustingly and disparagingly and destructively about Black people. And you think you want me and others like me to show a goddamn ounce of sympathy for a man who could give 2 fucks about my existence? No. Let me be abundantly clear.
Let me be abundantly clear. I don't think that the average Black folk, even people who think they know politics, I don't really think they grasp how the entire basis of Black politics is based on guilt and sympathy. Everything about Black politics boils down to some kind of guilt and sympathy, internally and externally.
If you one of them people that say, well, 2 wrongs don't make a right, well, you could take your 2 wrong ass up out this video and go take your tap dancing ass on somewhere else. I do not show sympathy and grace for somebody who disliked my being, who spoke disparagingly and disgustingly on people that look like me just because he disagreed. This man recently said that the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms in this country, right, it comes with some sacrifices. And if those sacrifices are a few deaths, then so be it. Well, goddamn it, Charlie. As Black folks say, look at God. With all due respect, stop asking people to have sympathy when sympathy wasn't fucking shown.
You know what's funny, Mr. O? Mr. O says he would have joined the panel last night, but he was tired. The Chicago Rilla and Sharon Stone was very disingenuous. You know, a shout out to Chicago Rilla. He was walking around Chicago with his camera on, showing us how wonderful and safe and how unmurdery Chicago was. You know, shout out to Chicago Rilla. I think that he thinks that he proved to us all that Chicago is safe and unmurdery. And then when I asked Chicago Rilla to walk around like that at 10:30 at night, he became immediately offended. Why would I do that? Why would I walk around Chicago at night? Don't you know how murdery and unsafe this place is? That was a whole that was a shocking moment. I'm like, bro, I thought it was unmurdery. I guess all the murdery people they must sleep during the daytime. Then he got mad at me when I made a vampire joke. I'm like, this nigga walking around 12 o'clock daytime, the sun high as hell in the sky. He's like, look, there's no vampires here. Okay, hunt vampires at night, bro. That's when gangsters hunt vampires. Wait till it's dark out and then go hunt vampires. And tell me how murdery your town is.
To my people in my community. We understood what happened with that brother and that Ukrainian woman on that subway. It was disgusting, and that brother should be buried under the jail with concrete poured on top of that. But it just gave people like him another opportunity to say that Black people and Black crime and Black on Black. How is it that it's never possibly our mental health that may be impacted, that may cause us to do something we shouldn't do? But when it's a white person, that's the first fucking thing that they go, it's their mental health. We are never given the grace of our mental health being something that causes us to do something we shouldn't fucking do. We're seen as thugs.
Are you trying to tell me you niggas?
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with y'all? You niggas are crazy.
I do think there might be a slightly higher incident of mental illness in das Community. I think that's a legitimate avenue of study. There may be a slightly higher rate of not only mental illness, but this is the problem right here. There's sort of a gray area between mental illness and low IQ. And I think we may have like a convergence of maybe two or three issues at hand here. There's, some low level mental illness, which coincides with some low IQ issues, which also coincides with a horrible socialization environment. Of course, the white people are responsible for all of that. I don't want to let this go unsaid. The white man is responsible for every one of those things. All of those coincidences I just listed, all white people's fault. Every last one of them. You guys should be ashamed of yourselves for what you did to the Negro mind.
Nigga, please. Serious. Serious.
Goddamn white man made me crazy.
And less than human. Listen, people are telling me, oh, he has a family. Think about the family. Well, I am. I'm thinking about mine. Power to the people.
Like I said, power to the people. Amazing. Oh, man. Hit that like button, guys. You know what? Let me read some of these super chats before we get to this next depressing bitch right here. Shout out to True Hype with the 5 ball. No one cares if he hurt or hurting after the monstrous acts. People affected by this don't care, and if enough happens, they're gonna want some get back. I don't even want to talk about the get back, the other side of the coin, the pendulum swinging, the shoes falling. I'm gonna save that for a moment. But thank you so much for that, True Hype. Goddamn get back. You niggas don't know what's gonna happen. You can't imagine how hard it's gonna get. Deacon Dave with the $2 super chat. Can't be a man and black at the same time. Someone, someone. I think Dirty Folks said that. And I've said as much as on my own time as well. You can either be a man or you can be black, but you can't always be both, and you're gonna have to choose. Rational B with a $2 super chat. Tired of their struggle session. Deport them too. It's not a bad choice. I mean, I hear Liberia's nice. We tried that once before. We can make Liberia great again. Since you niggas don't like it here.
So the racist conservative Charlie Kirk was shot today while speaking at a college in Utah. Charlie Kirk is a racist. He's a far-right conservative MAGA racist who always talk bad about black people. One of the main talking points that he liked to use was that black people commit the most crimes, although we are 13 or 16% of the population, which is a lie, by the way. But you want to know the irony of it all? Now that he's been shot and possibly unalived, the fact that it was another Caucasian man that did it and possibly unalived him is so ironic, because Mr. Charlie Kirk wholeheartedly believed that black people were the most violent or the most criminal people. And for him to be shot and killed by another white man just goes to show how none of his talking points were based on actual facts and statistics.
I'm starting to think not only this girl, but a lot of black folks struggle with the very concept and the nature of statistics and percentages and whatnot. You know, it's probably loosely connected to the whole African time phenomenon, but I have been noticing a pattern in a lot of Black folk where they struggle to mentally grasp the full reality of a statistical reality.
So my question to you is this: when we talking in actual families,
Who's the
real
majority of the
people,
race in this
why
country?
are we talking in percentages instead of real numbers when we're dealing with real people?
Okay, because percentages are real numbers.
No, percentages, dude, that don't even make sense.
Yes, it does.
Percentages are not real numbers.
Yes, they are.
No, they are not.
The main majority of race in this
Yes,
country.
yes, they are.
White people
Percentages are not real numbers. Real numbers would be
percentages
0 through 9. Those are real numbers.
I understand that this may be. I understand that this may be difficult, but percentages are real numbers. We use
I'm gonna have
percentages
to tell you
in
that
order
if you
to
have
do
to
our
take
taxes.
a percentage of a number, then you're not talking about raw data. You're not talking about
do our
real
percentages.
numbers, and
We do our percent. We use percentage to pay our
we use
taxes.
percentages to
They are
get
real
it.
numbers.
Oh my motherfucking God.
Because had he actually looked at the facts and statistics, then he would know that white men are the most violent men on this planet. Instead of attacking Black people, he should have been protecting himself and preparing himself against the real threat, which was actually his own kind.
White friends during this whole Charlie Kirk death is absolutely diabolical, because this was a lot of conservative white people's Jesus, which means they're gonna have a lot of white friends who are gonna agree with you, but they're not gonna say anything publicly because they don't want to upset their conservative white friends who this is like their mourning day. However, you have a lot of vocal white people, and I know some people's jobs may not allow them to say that, which I don't even think that's an HR rule. But with that being said, this goes back to my points of my previous videos. A lot of your white friends would rather be comfortable and rest in their whiteness than actually speak up for things that matter. This is not just social media, it can even be in like a social setting. A lot of white people are going to prioritize their whiteness and their comfortability and the privileges that it comes with rather than actually being on the right side of history. With that being said, I do not have any empathy for Charlie Kirk. As he said in his own words, empathy is not real. And I also extend my empathy to children lost in lives lost in mass school shootings. I extend my empathy to victims of assault. I extend my empathy to every single person or marginalized group that Charlie Kirk would attack every single day with his platform. That is where I extend my empathy. I don't have empathy for somebody who said that Black women didn't have the same brain power and capacity that other people have. So Charlie Kirk can sincerely kiss my yes. I don't have any empathy for someone who was a white supremacist and spewed white supremacy ideology.
Yo, I heard a fucking Nazi just got shot in the neck. Is he dead yet? Fuck that demon. Yo.
I'm already seeing some of y'all do it. That moral standpoint of, oh, I don't care how you feel politically. Nobody deserves to. Wrong. Some people do deserve to. He was a demon. Why do y'all do this? Why do y'all pretend to feel sad when a karmically deserved outcome hits someone who is evil? I don't get it. I don't understand. Oh, he had a family. He had a family. You know who else had families? Every single victim of the mass shootings that he's repeatedly defended, the school shootings, the children of mass shootings that he's excused, said essentially they're just collateral. Oh, he has kids. He has daughter. You know what he said about his daughter? He said that he would force his daughter to give birth to the results of an assault if she got pregnant from it, and force her. Even if she wanted to get rid of it, he would force her. They were gonna hate him later anyway. Got obliterated by a fellow white man. White on white crime, first of all. He passed doing what he loved, which was arguing with teenagers and scapegoating gang violence. So at the end of the day, he got what he wanted. I'm sick of some of y'all. I'm sick of this respectability thing that, we're all just trying to get up. He was a demon. I'm glad it happened. I got giddy reading it. This idea that we need to be civil in the current American political landscape, laughable. It's laughable. I'm already seeing.
Giddy, he says. Giddy is an interesting choice of word. It's like an extreme, almost childlike happiness that he's describing. Giddy is literally what children do when you wave a lollipop in their face, and he got giddy. Interesting. Marvin Law with the $10 super chat. Aaron Magruder, the creator of the Boondocks, said the left moral currency is run out. And after what happened yesterday, it has run out. There's no more talking. Yeah, and mind you, I'm only focusing on this microcosm of Black people in particular, but it is widespread throughout the left. That was my entire argument yesterday when I was over on the Sharon Bracey channel. My very first point: left-wing violence. Well, political violence is a majority left-wing phenomenon, and so a lot of people are looking at the left in general as you guys have just gone too far. Even if they agree with your points, it's hard to stand with you now. And then when it comes to Black people, Jesus Christ, Black people.
And I can't shut up. I wish I could. I really wish I could shut the fuck up, but I can't.
Charlie Kirk, you're in the lower fucking room, bitch. Oh, fucking finally. You bitches starting to move and shake, fucking shake, bitch. It's in your real fucking shooter. Stop sitting. Y'all gonna sit in damn. Oh, thank you. And then people talking about some words can't hurt you. That's why we're in a situation now, because y'all still think that. If words couldn't change and alter how you think, why the fuck are there motivational speakers? They're literally motivational speakers for evil. That's what the fuck they are. Start shutting them the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. It's time to shut the fuck up. Shut this shit the fuck up. And y'all have this big fucking MAGA rally with your MAGA hats on. Yeah, this is what the fuck is going to happen to you if y'all keep this shit up. We're done. They're done. They finally starting to move and finally starting to shake. And sending their real hitters out. Because you can't make no shot like that off of practicing at the gun range, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I'm going to reserve my conspiracy thinking about this. I will say I have expanded my conspiracy thinking to an international scope. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about this much anymore.
Charlie Kirk, dead. Well, I'll be damned. Who did it? I want to talk to him. I want to take him out to eat. Matter of fact, actually, he probably, or she probably, and it was a he. They're probably in custody right now. Alive, probably. Ain't he the one that said that gun deaths are necessary if they want to keep their Second Amendment right? Fuck you. And he said that about children who were shot at school. He can rest in motherfucking shit. And I don't want to hear anything about, hate doesn't do anything. Violence is never the answer. Violence has been the answer in all of fucking history. I don't want to hear a single white person tell me that violence is not the answer when they have been using violence to get whatever the fuck they want as oppressors since the beginning of time. Nothing has ever been done in the history of the world without violence and bloodshed. And it's always like Christians who are saying like violence isn't the answer. Have you read your motherfucking Bible, ho? Because there is bloodshed and violence all up in that bitch. Of innocent people, might I add. Ever heard of child sacrifice? You know, the thing that your sky daddy literally did in the name of love for himself or his son or his brother or whatever. I feel bad for Charlie Kirk's kids. That's about it. I don't feel bad for his wife because she's a piece of shit for being with a man like that. The kids are innocent. They didn't ask to be here. They lost a parent who they didn't know was a bad person yet. Other than that, no one mourns the wicked. Charlie Kirk is dead, okay? Anyways, what y'all having for dinner?
I haven't actually thought that far ahead yet. I might go to the grocery store and see what I like. But thank you for asking, though. Charming young lady, wasn't that?
They got him in the neck. They got him in the neck. Shit whip. Like a fucking samurai film. Oh, good news. Good news, everyone. Good news.
Yes, they did, in fact, get him in the neck.
He was shot because we don't have food in our fridge. He was shot because our co-workers of color are being incarcerated and sent back to their country for.
Did you guys immediately hear a chirp way off in the distance? Was my mind playing tricks on me? Did I hear a chirp? Was that like my racist subconscious playing a trick on me?
He was shot because we don't have food in our fridge. He was shot because our co-workers of color are being incarcerated and sent back to their country for no reason. He was shot because we don't have health care. We are so mad up to the point that we're actually starting to take pew-pews and take them to politicians. And honestly, I do not agree with gun violence at all. I feel like there's other ways that we can have a discussion without having to bring out the pew-pew. But we have tried. We've done peaceful protesting. We've wrote into the government. But no, these red-sided people don't care. So what do you think we're gonna do? The red-colored people are like, he was such a good person. Why did he get shot? If you've seen the video on Twitter, please listen to the last 10 seconds of what he said before he went. And if you, honestly, y'all, he had it coming. I'm so sorry. He was shot.
I do not believe her. I do not believe she is sorry at all in the traditional definitional sense of the term. I do not. I suspect she's lying about that apology she just gave at the end there. I could be wrong, but something tells me she is not, in fact, quote, sorry. I just don't. I'm not. I'm not hearing. Are you guys hearing the apology? I don't hear the sorry. I'm not. I'm. Hmm. I struggle. I do. I struggle. I am not hearing the sorry, and I. Hmm, this is all very unfortunate. You know, we talk about pendulums swinging. You know, this shift in American culture. What was it like 8 years ago when Trump first got around? And they had a Nick Fuentes who started to become a popular figure for the young right wing audience, and then he started to get in trouble. They tried to ban him. He was debanked. I think he was put on like a no fly list or something at one point. they you know, they put a lot of pressure on the kid, and he stayed in the pocket, and he kept throwing bombs, kept throwing touchdowns, he stayed in the pocket the whole time. And now, all these years later, after all of that and everything that's been said about him and done against him, the irony that a Nick Fuentes is now he's now on the cover of the New York Times. And so being not only a staunch American nationalist, but he was also one of the people who were originally attempting to popularize. Well, not I'm not going to say he was the first of anything in that sort, but in the modern era, especially with like these Gen Z and Gen Alpha, he has been kind of the main guy popularizing his pro-white position. Let's call it that. And with the death of the ballerina who was attacked by the tarantula monster the other day, and then now we see like this awful black reaction to Charlie Kirk's murder. And then if you care to look, you'll see videos like this all over the internet.
White people only respect violence. And that's why when I'm outside of work, I don't hesitate to jump down their motherfucking throats anytime they try to play with me because they know exactly what the fuck they be doing. The only grace I have is for people that look like me. Other than that, foot on throat 24 fucking 7.
And whether or not you agree with a Charlie Kirk and how he talks about, you know, black crime, or even going to a further extreme, whether or not you agree with a Nick Fuentes and how he talks about white people's relationship to black people in America right now, reality is proving him correct to the point where even people who viciously hate him have to acknowledge such.
When you silence people, you make them angry, they stop thinking straight, and they start saying, things that can, in fact, be hateful. Listen, I once talked to a DA who was as left as far to be a prosecutor, who was as far left as is possible to be, and she sat there with me and she described what kind of crimes each race commits. So if you find a Jewish guy, he's going to commit if he's a criminal, he's going to commit a financial crime. A black guy's going to commit a street crime. And she went on and she was talking about like Latvians. I mean, she had the whole thing laid out. That's just part of culture. That's the way culture works. It isolates people, and it isolates people according to the ways that people isolate themselves, which are race and money and class and all kinds of different things. And so that we're not supposed to mention this makes the racists, it gives the racists credibility,
You are giving the racist credibility. I don't think, I know the irony is lost on the majority of these people that I listen to, well, that I talk to when I'm on these Chitlin Circuit panels, but I can hear it in my interaction with these people. You give the racist credibility. And again, it's like a quiet thing because they just won't see it, but I see
and all
it.
kinds of different things. And so that we're not supposed to mention this makes the racists, it gives the racists credibility. When a Nick Fuentes comes out and says, oh, nobody ever talks about the blacks, but the blacks do this and that. And people, I know young people, they sit and listen to him and go, that's true. Nobody ever mentions that, but there's some truth to that. And it gives him credibility, which he doesn't deserve.
Hateful old ball nigger. Hateful crypto fucker. He doesn't deserve the credit. Yes, Listen, you can't tell motherfucker he doesn't deserve the credit that he's been working to have this whole time. And just when you niggas thought you was the good guys, bam, Tarantula Monster tries to eat a ballerina. God damn it. God damn it. We was doing so good. We was out here selling these BLM packs. They was going like hotcakes. We was just out here hustling the BLM packs. And next thing you know, Tarantula Monster kills a ballerina. God damn it. Now the racists have credibility. These BLM packs ain't worth shit no more. Can't even give these things away. Don't nobody want to sniff this BLM dope no more. Gave the racists too much credibility. Who couldn't you blame but yourselves? Who else is in the mirror but us, right?
Oh my god, it's not funny.
Yes. Yeah. Listen, you know what? I say we blame her. I say we put it all on her and her giant eyelashes. All right? Yo, Uncut, you with me? You with me? Let's blame her. Let's put all the weight on this bitch. She can hold all the blame, all of her eyelashes, bro. Her big back and her two eyelashes. We gonna put all the weight on her. I say we blame this bitch, bro. You and I ain't gotta argue about nothing when this bitch is like this rolling around. She can clearly handle all the blame for everything that's wrong in the world. That's all I'm saying. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It was anybody but me. It might have even have been them niggas, Uncut. It might have been them niggas too. I'm not saying no names, so I'm not saying no names, but it might have been them niggas. Who knows? Who knows? This shit smells kind of international as far as I'm known. But what do I know? What do I know? I don't do much. I just talk about things on the internet. I make fart jokes and nub jokes and shit. I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing about nothing. It could have definitely been them. Listen, it could have been the one armed man. It could have. It could have been the guys from that movie The Fugitive. It could have been the one armed man. Who knows? Who knows? All I'm saying is we could blame her though. We could easily blame her. Big back with the oversized eyelashes. She looked like she's guilty of a lot of things, and she's been getting away with it for far too long. And so I say, like, Uncut, you and I together right now, even though it was most likely some other people that I don't even know how to talk about, I say that we blame this bitch and just be done with it. Agreed? All right, agreed. Cool. Glad we had this talk.
I really want you guys to understand that time is running out. And a lot of black people say that, but for real. Part of why the civil rights movement has been so successful, and part of why those who have come after in terms of our leadership have been able to maintain a presence, is that black people have always had a certain amount of moral currency that we have been using. And let me be the first to tell you, that's used up. White America has been watching us act like fools for a long enough time where any sympathy they may have had to our plight is completely gone. You're approaching a country that, forget hating black people or not hating black people, they just don't care. You can be talking about affirmative action, they can be like, I don't care. It literally is of no importance to me. I don't care about slavery. I don't care about segregation. I don't care about you. I don't care how many of you all go to jail. I don't care at all because I'm broke. You can't be the proud, noble fighter when every single time someone sees a person that looks like you on television, they're acting like a damn fool. How would they know? How would they know you're not a damn fool? They're going to talk to you? Yeah, right.
Not only are people broke, but there are dangerous tarantula monsters almost everywhere. They're everywhere. Oh my God. It's like that one movie about all the spiders, arachnophobia. Damn tarantula monsters are everywhere, bro. They're just lurking. You could be anywhere, and one of them will just jump out at you. Yeah. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do if a tarantula monster just jumps on your head one day? Just yeah, gotcha, bitch. Now what? I'm saying it could be you one day. You never know. It could be you. Kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? And so BLM released a statement, kind of, sort of, about that whole thing.
Have a right to violence. All oppressed people have a right to violence. And I'm going to tell you something. It's like the right to pee. You got to have the right place. You got to have the right time. You got to have the appropriate situation. And I'm absolutely convinced that this is it. Have a right to violence. All oppressed people have a right to violence. And I'm going to tell you something. It's like the right to pee. You got to have the right place. You got to have the right time. You got to have the appropriate situation. And I'm absolutely convinced that this is.
See, you got the right to pee, don't you? Sometimes it's like, got the right place, the right time. You just go and do the right thing with it. I don't know what movie or production that was from, but that was put out by the BLM Instagram page. I think that was from Instagram. So yeah, there's that. And I'm gonna get out of here in a second, but there's one last thing we're gonna show. Oh yeah, here it is. Here it is. Perfect. So apparently there's audio from I guess this guy made a phone call from jail. I don't know, he's on the phone with his sister or something like that.
So you said something in your body did what?
Nah, the material, put it like this, the material using my body to stab the lady.
And so she just got stabbed.
Yeah. You know that's not me. I'm talking about just for no reason. But since they did that, now they gotta investigate the material my body exposed to. Since they want to do all that, now they gotta investigate.
It's funny because she's from the Ukraine, she's from Russia, and they got a war. They had a war going on against the United States. So I'm just trying to understand, out of all people, why her?
That's hey, it ain't. I don't have nothing. They just lashed out on her. That's what happened. They lashed out on her. Who else was working the album? Who was working the material? Whoever was working the material? They lashed out on her.
I was talking about this earlier, and we're gonna kind of wrap up on this point here. But what if a lot of these niggas are, a little crazy?
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with y'all? You niggas are crazy.
Thug's interview is proof that street dudes are sped, and we should have been stopped listening to them. The number of times that Thug called himself a YN, a jit, or some other thing that basically means a child is insane. Thug, you are 34 years old.
I'm gonna say this. I come out of a rough area. A lot of people in the hood have arrested development or some sort of developmental issue. A lot of people, men and women, do not age past between like 14 and 17 years old. They amass money, they can amass wealth like Young Thug if they have some sort of talent, but psychologically they never graduate high school. They still think the shit that was cool at the cafeteria table is cool in adulthood. Unfortunately, in the Black community, we have a lot of people like this, and it's why we have a lot of problems that we do. Sometimes, like, why do they complain about that? Or why is she doing this? Or why is he doing that? Their brains have not evolved. And you think that this person has these problems because, like, they're an adult just on hard times, right? The world has dealt them a terrible card. They are developmentally delayed. That is why they are having issues that they have. They do not have the mental capacity to make better decisions. It's up here. It's not the world around them. They are not actually full adults. What happens when you give somebody like that millions of dollars? Young Thug. And honestly, just the rap industry in general.
And I said it from the start, this is advanced darkness. This is Heart of Darkness. This is the jungle drum. This is the fertility goddess of chaos. They're literally going to eat your balls. They're going to cut your fucking nuts off and eat them.
Whoa, what? They're gonna what?
None of these niggas have motion except for me. There has to be one real nigga left in America, in this damn country.
It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done.